to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a buffalo chicken cheesy pasta bake. So I am just starting off with my chicken breast. I cooked 2 chicken breasts in my Instant Pot, and now I'm just going to shred them up. So next I'm just going to pour a little buffalo sauce and ranch in the chicken and mix it up. There will be some more buffalo sauce and ranch going in the pasta, but I did want to make sure I coated the chicken just a little bit. This is actually a Pinterest recipe. I just literally followed the video on Pinterest and she mixed everything in a bowl. This is something I would do differently next time. I would just mix all of this in the same pot that I cooked the pasta because this was such a hassle to mix. So I did just add some buffalo sauce, ranch, and 2 types of cheeses, a sharp cheddar cheese and Monterey Jack cheese. So now I'm just going to mix this together and kind of taste test it and add more buffalo or ranch as needed. As you see, I am genuinely stirring this with some tongs. This is how kind of hard it was. So I am just going to keep adding some buffalo sauce or ranch just to make sure it is flavorful. So once I thought that everything was well combined and the cream cheese was kind of evenly spread out, I'm just going to place this in a small baking dish and then bake it in the oven at about 350 degrees until everything is cooked. So lastly, I just topped the pasta with some of that cheese. I just like to mix the white and yellow cheese. I think it comes out really nicely, and then this goes right into the oven. So for our side, I'm just going to make some green beans. So I'm just going to lightly season these green beans with some garlic salt, some garlic powder, and some everything seasoning. And then this will go in the oven when the pasta is close to being done. This is how everything looked when it was done. If you like buffalo chicken dip, you would definitely love this recipe. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a chicken pot pie casserole. So I am starting out with my potatoes. I do like to use a lot of potatoes in my chicken pot pie. I feel like I like potatoes more than the actual chicken. So I'm just going to cut a good amount of potatoes up into some small chunks, like smaller than I would if I was roasting them. I am using gold potatoes for this recipe, and I'm also leaving the skin on. So then I just set these potatoes aside, and now I'm going to work on my chicken. So I am using 2 chicken breasts. I'm going to cut them up into small cubes as well. I am making a lot of food because we are having this for leftovers the next night. I also do like smaller pieces in my chicken pot pie, so I am cutting the potatoes and the chicken up into smaller bite-sized pieces. So next I'm going to work on cooking the chicken first, and then I will set that aside. So to a pan I just added some oil and heated that up, and now I'm going to add the chicken and season it. I'm going to lightly season with some garlic salt, everything seasoning, some Italian seasoning, and some garlic powder. So I'm just going to toss the chicken around on medium heat until the chicken is all the way cooked through. So once the chicken was done, I just set aside the pan actually, and now I'm going to work on the sauce and cooking the potatoes. So first I'm going to throw in half a stick of butter and let that melt down. Then I'm going to add in some garlic and let that saute as well. Next, I'm going to add in some flour to start making a roux. A roux just kind of helps the sauce thicken as it cooks. And then I'm going to add in about 4 cups of water, and then I will do 4 teaspoons of chicken bouillon powder, so this acts as chicken broth. So I'm just going to stir that around until everything is all mixed in, and then I'm going to add in my potatoes. This is where the potatoes will cook. So once the potatoes have softened, I'm going to add in my heavy cream. This just kind of makes the chicken pot pie sauce just a little bit more creamy, and I'm also going to add in a good amount of peas and carrots. So once that is nice and hot, I'm going to add in some cornstarch slurry. This just kind of helps thicken up the sauce a little bit more. This is also just a great fall meal just to eat it as is. I definitely will probably do this at some point. So at this point I do just test for seasonings. I am adding a little bit more of the chicken bouillon powder and some pepper, giving that a nice mix, and then this will go straight into the casserole dish. So lastly, I'm just going to top this casserole with some pie crust just to unroll both these pieces and throw it on top. And then I do like to dab a little bit of egg wash to kind of help brown the pie crust. This went in the oven at 350 until everything was browned and bubbly. This is how it all looked when it was done, and then you definitely want to let it cool and set. Just a really nice fall meal. So the last dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a fried pork chop with some mac and cheese and roasted broccoli. So I'm going to start out with my pork chops. I just deboned them, just cut around the bone, and now I have these 2 little pieces. I'm going to do the flour, egg wash, and flour method, and then we will fry these. So for my mac and cheese, I just drained the half a box of elbow macaroni noodles that I had cooking, and now I'm going to throw it back in the pot with half a stick of butter, some heavy cream, some Velveeta, and then I will throw in some shredded cheddar. This is just a really nice way to make an easy macaroni side without actually having to use a box. So I'm just going to keep stirring and let this get hot so all the cheese will melt together, and then I'm just going to throw in a handful of sharp cheddar cheese to add some more flavor. So lastly, I'm going to fry the pork chops. I wanted to do this last, so this was the most fresh. So to a pan, I just had some oil heating on a medium heat, and I'm just going to fry these until they are nice and browned on both sides. Once these were done, I just picked them up, drained the excess oil, and put them on a drying rack to finish draining and cool down. This is how everything looked when it was done. Just a nice, easy weeknight dinner. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.